You know the idea of we don't know what the world is. What if I told you that is one of the biggest lies in human history? What if I told you we know exactly where we are? It's just evil psychopaths want to gatekeep it, and even more so, create belief systems in your mind to reject it. So, F it. I'm going to tell you the secret truth of the whole universe. If you don't know who I am, I mastered the video game world, then I realised we live inside of one, the Matrix, so I figured out the meta to complete it, spending 4 years, sometimes 14 hours a day, obsessively researching, questioning, and dissecting everything the world told our generation was true. I studied every book, philosophical idea, and conspiracy rabbit hole. The biggest secret of the video game we are living in is about to be unlocked. The following comes from my book, Mindmaxxing. So if you enjoy or you want the meta to the Matrix, feel free to check it out. Knowledge is power. What is the most valuable commodity in the world? Some will say money. The smart ones will say time, but the correct answer is knowledge. Knowledge is more valuable as you can not only make money with it, but also save time with it. With the right knowledge, you will earn hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes overnight, through the stock market or Bitcoin currency. Moreover, if you gain valuable knowledge, you will save extraordinary amounts of time and mental energy from working a job you hate. Or, if it is time you want to save, through knowledge, you can also acquire more efficient mastery and practice. If you know more knowledge than somebody else, you will have more power over them. Therefore, knowledge is power. Therefore, if an individual wanted to seek more power over humanity, they would seek to have more knowledge than humanity. This may be achieved through various methods, as some people believe knowledge is evil, some believe knowledge is not necessary, some believe knowledge is not fun to acquire, some believe they don't have the genetics to gain knowledge, and some don't want knowledge due to the belief that there are more important endeavours. The more knowledge a psychopath has in comparison to others, the more knowledge they gain over others, and the less humanity wants to gain knowledge, the more power the psychopath acquires. The less knowledge you have, the more susceptible you are to division, thought manipulation, and the directing of your free will choice. The more knowledge a psychopath has, and the less humanity wants to have it, the more the psychopath can impose their will onto others. Not only is knowledge the most valuable commodity in the world as it is, but for the case of maximizing your mind and future greatness, you should encourage the exact same thinking. Knowledge should be the most valuable commodity to you in the whole entire world, more than money and time, because application of knowledge brings you money, saves time, brings greatness, joy, life purpose, and helps humanity evolve physically, mentally, morally, and spiritually. Not to mention our psychopathic capitalist society, which rewards us depending on how valuable the knowledge is in our heads. If your knowledge is common, you don't get paid anything. If your knowledge is rare, you get paid more. But knowledge isn't everything, just as money or time isn't everything. No commodity is everything. However, right now, in this present moment, knowledge marks the only difference between you and greatness, nothing else. Great knowledge is the underlying foundation of everything. Given that knowledge is more valuable than time or money, we should analyze society through the same lens. Take a step back and analyze our society and humanity. We all know money is a valuable currency. Everybody freaking loves money. It is worshipped like a god. So what does humanity do with it? Do we share it with the world for everyone to prosper? Or do certain individuals decide to gatekeep it for themselves to gain more power? So, with knowledge perhaps being a more valuable currency than money, who's to say a certain type of individual wouldn't gatekeep knowledge for power, just like they do with money? Who's to say certain psychopaths wouldn't gatekeep the truth about the whole entire universe? Who's to say they wouldn't manipulate other classes of wealth so they don't even want to attain such knowledge? They know things you don't know. They have knowledge you don't have. You don't know they have it because you don't have the knowledge required to even see that such knowledge exists. So psychopaths continue to view reality through an entirely different set of glasses, and you don't bat an eyelid. This is what Plato's allegory of the cave describes. Certain access to knowledge and experience changes how we see the world. Plato's allegory. Imagine a deep dark cave under the earth with zero sunlight, zero plants, and zero animals. Ever since their birth, a group of people is chained at their necks and feet, forced to look at a cave wall for their whole lives. Because of the chains, the only act these prisoners can engage in is viewing and staring at the wall directly in front of them. In this same cave, out of their view, there is a large fire that shines light onto the wall. Outside of the view of the prisoners, people walk around carrying cut-out drawings of animals. These cutouts then appear in shadows on the same wall the prisoners have been facing for their whole lives. The prisoners can only see the cave wall and the shadows placed upon it. This is the only experience they have ever had. The prisoners, with limited perception and knowledge, conclude that this cave wall is the truth of reality. The shadows on the wall are the ultimate truth, and nothing else exists. Over time, these prisoners start naming the shadows, creating language, creating games, and giving rewards to those who have the best commentary. One day, one of the prisoners realizes his chains are loosened. He forces himself free, gets up, turns around, and sees the large fire. At first, the fire is so bright it hurts his eyes, and he becomes confused. As he gets closer, he starts to understand the shadows were only illusions, eventually climbing out of the top of the cave. The sun burns his eyes. The light is extremely painful, but over time, his eyes adjust, and eventually, he's able to see the world outside. Trees, the blue sky, sunlight, animals, and the true reality. For the first time in his life, he can see, know, and understand the actual truth of the world. The one that's been hidden since birth is so overwhelming that his vision becomes beyond his cave language. Suddenly, he remembers his friends, still trapped in the cave. He starts to pity them and feels sorry for them because he knows they live in a lie. They don't understand the truth that is so beautiful. He wants to explain to the prisoners that they have been living in a lie for their whole entire lives. So the man returns to the cave, excited to speak the truth and set the others free. But there's a problem. When he starts to describe the truth, they start to mock him, humiliate him, and call him names. He finds it difficult to describe what he's seen using the language from the cave. The prisoners start to get annoyed by his constant noise, convinced he's an insane idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. The prisoners decide not to follow the crazy man, convinced they are right, staying in the comfortable shadows looking at the wall. The prisoners stay in the cave, tied to their chains, enjoying the shadows. The free man keeps coming back day after day, week after week, to try to free the prisoners and their minds. But the prisoners get so fed up with him and his noise that they kill him. Now there's peace. They can watch their shadows without the crazy man getting in the way. So, are you more like the free man, knowing truth, trying to free others? Or are you more like the prisoners watching the cave wall, convinced they are right, despite lacking knowledge? The education system is like the shadows on the cave wall, controlling the knowledge, belief, and experience we receive at birth, in return controlling the glasses we now view the world in. By putting you in a hypothetical cave, warping your perception, experience, and knowledge, it becomes easier to control you and direct your free will. This works like a mouse in a maze with tunnel vision. Show you a direction and shove you down it. They do this for so long that even if you were to wake up, you'd rather continue the maze rather than go back to the start line to start again. Regurgitators. Throughout history, we have been passing down specific skills for society to function from generation to generation. As this has happened, the rich psychopaths have passed down their own set of knowledge, including a vast array of knowledge surrounding the universe we live in. From kings to kings, from monarchy to monarchy, from rich to rich, psychopath to psychopath, through the bloodline, secret knowledge has been passed down free of programming. The fact we don't get taught this truth in the education system is further proof of the complete baloney our society is currently under. The truth. The problem with truth is that we have been taught that truth is subjective to the individual. We all have a right to believe in whatever we want, right? Nobody knows with 100% correct factual certainty where we are, right? As Plato's allegory of the cave describes, there is a problem with our world. Most of humanity is like the prisoners on the cave walls, convinced nobody knows the truth of reality, or that somehow their truth is the truth because truth is subjective to the individual. After all, what's the problem with the prisoner believing the shadow on the cave wall is the ultimate truth of reality? Nothing really. We all have free will. But is that your highest will? Are you playing this video game we call life the best you possibly could? Will someone living in the free world above the cave allow you to harm yourself in that way? We can all believe what we want to believe. But when a man comes down saying the actual truth of the universe and you pity him, mock him, and claim him as delusional without critical thinking, please understand you are the one who is hurting yourself. Truth may be subjective to a certain degree, but when one truth becomes so blatantly obvious across all of religion, science, history, and the gatekeeping of knowledge, you have to ask, why do you still believe the cave walls are the true existence of reality? Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you know what you know, when you don't even have the set of knowledge needed to debunk such a truth? Maybe you are like an accountant trying to recognize the pattern of a fire, a pattern the fireman knows with all of his heart. The greatest minds, often, behind closed doors, believe, know, and understand three simple truths. We are all one. You are not your thoughts. Mind creates matter. Whether or not you choose to know or believe in these truths, even though it is the truth, the belief and knowing in these truths gives an individual the meta mindset to acquire and achieve great feats. Important. Despite what you think is the truth, you can't see and know the truth unless you seek the truth with all of your conviction. But for those who do, they see very clearly who is stuck looking at the cave wall and who are the psychopaths putting shadows on the wall. Unless you seek the truth, you will never see the truth. You will accept whatever dogma they gave you at birth, or you will stand in the middle not knowing anything of this world, and your future will reap the repercussions of such beliefs. You will be an accountant looking at a burning building, telling the fireman how to shoot his hose, even though you have no idea, regurgitating what psychopaths want you to believe or know in. Until you seek, until you gain knowledge, you will never see the obstacles in truth. The fire, the burning door handle, knowing how to bust a door open with the force of your shoulder, or knowing when the roof is about to fall. For the unknowledgeable, the fire will catch them, burn them, humiliate them, and eventually kill them. How are you going to see the obstacles in truth if you're like an accountant trying to suss out fire? Poor humanity still believes the cave wall is the existence of reality, while the psychopaths have you chained, believing we don't know where we are, when they know exactly where we are. Again, why do you believe what you believe? It's hilarious that Elon Musk declares he doesn't know what cave we are in, despite him being a high-level Saturnian occultist, just like every other rich psychopath. But maybe that is too hard on some people's belief system and set of knowledge. After all, to an accountant, the idea that the roof is about to fall may sound crazy. Some may have even felt the regurgitating side of their thought loops appear in their mind without conscious thought. Conspiracy theorist. Maybe some are so enamored by the shadows on the cave walls that these shadows have become one with their subconscious mind. Look within, asking yourself, who are you to question the movement of the fire when your embedded knowledge involves analytical spreadsheets? If you are an accountant, would you call a fireman a fire theorist? Just because you don't know doesn't mean I don't know. I know with the whole of my soul. Thank you. There are many claims as to where the truth has come from. Truth is preserved in many ways. The Library of Alexandria had a wealth of knowledge before it was burned around 500 AD. The ancient mystery schools of Greece and Rome had a wealth of knowledge that was gatekept from normal society. The Roman Catholic Church burned many texts that were seen as controversial, leaving the duplications underground. The Knights Templar, Freemasonry, and other secret societies have a wealth of hidden knowledge not available to the public. The gatekeeping of knowledge has happened since the beginning of time. Before I explain, it's important to go through some limiting beliefs. As we have already seen, science is a tool used to suppress the human race. Science is real and necessary, but it can be used to integrate half-truths if you have zero discernment. This is the same for education, media, social media, TV, news, etc. Science is knowledge that can be proven to be true using our technology and sciences without acknowledging that we are limited by it. Again, science is knowledge that can be proven to be true using our technology and sciences without acknowledging we are limited by it. It's like trying to understand Earth using language from a cave. What is consciousness? Science doesn't know. Where do thoughts come from? Science doesn't know. Where do new concepts come from? Science doesn't know. Where does creativity come from? Science doesn't know. It is limited because we are limited in our science and technology. Science will point to the truth, but it will never come out and say it word for word. You must learn to fill in the gaps yourself with your own critical thinking and set of knowledge. While science is limited, ancient knowledge, or the knowledge of the psychopathic wealthy, is knowledge passed down through history. It's true because the ancients knew unique knowledge that the public no longer gets taught. Through the preserving and gatekeeping of knowledge, it gets passed down through certain psychopathic chains. The ancients of our world were extremely smart, way smarter than you and me. It has been proven now many times, despite our modern technology, that we cannot replicate the Egyptian pyramids in any way, shape or form. We simply cannot do it despite our great technology. People think we as a species are evolving, when in moments perhaps we have actually de-evolved. Ancient people understood consciousness, the cycle of energy, and how this earth actually works through the study of patterns. The biggest barrier for you may be the fact you've labelled knowledge like this as quote-unquote woo-woo for your whole entire life. What you need to understand, however, is that despite what your family, education system, and society think and label this knowledge as, the psychopaths who have all the knowledge and secrets passed down take it very, very seriously. This knowledge at its deepest level is not woo-woo. It is extremely concrete through analysing the secret patterns of our world. The monarchy, takes it very, very seriously. The billionaires take it very, very seriously, and so do some of the greatest top athletes and celebrities. They take it seriously because not only is it true, application of this knowledge gives you an advantage over everyone else. The higher echelons in society know more about this reality than you do, and conveniently, they have conditioned the peasants, me, you, and everyone you know to label it as woo-woo, so we don't even acknowledge it. Most people don't even want to look at it. They are so closed-minded, being in a regurgitation state, rather than critically thinking and being open. Knowledge is power, and very conveniently, they don't want you to have that power. And neither do you, apparently. It's important to note that exaggeration and half-truths still exist and aren't exclusive to only one field. Exaggeration and half-truths also exist in the spiritual truths, but you must have discernment and become a truth seeker to see the difference. Not everything in spirituality is true, but not everything is a lie. But by combining the lie with the truth, you think the whole thing is conveniently a lie, right? Look within yourself and ask, why do I believe what I believe? Is that really me? Or did I just accept that from the environment, knowledge, and social validation pressing its will upon mine? Have I really questioned everything myself, or am I outsourcing my thinking? And if you have outsourced your thinking, how do you know they have your best interests in mind? How do you know they are right? It could be a combination of illusion and belief. It's very crucial to gain your power back and acquire the open mind necessary to look into topics you would have never conceived of before. What kind of world would not allow its participants to know the full truth at birth? Why would it allow me to not only forget, but also be indoctrinated by a lesser force? Maybe you have been groomed to have education system glasses. Would you believe what you believe if you lived in the tribe of an Amazon rainforest? Or are you allowing yourself to be the product of your environment? An environment that has been scaled out en masse, so nobody truly questions how or why it began. Understand, the wealthy, psychopathic, knowledgeable individuals of the world take the following truth extremely seriously. Having the real authentic knowledge without any corrupted half-truth knowledge attached. Despite humanity's polluted opinions gained from externally controlled resources, the purpose of the current worldview is to keep the general public's mind in a fixed state. All science is real, and we can't trust any other knowledge because it is most likely woo-woo, without acknowledging that the same psychopaths who tamper with the knowledge to make it woo-woo are the same people who have it untampered, all so you don't take it seriously. To get to this conclusion, however, requires great knowledge, experience, and pattern recognition, one that took me far too many years to realize. A fixed mind is a programmed mind. An open mind doesn't mean you accept anything and everything as truth, but rather you listen to someone's opinions and theories, holding back from judgment, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. Then you critically think for yourself, questioning and looking into all evidence, patterns, and perceptions without bias, a task that should be very easy to do once one massive lie has unfolded, as you will harshly realize no lie is off limits. Ask, if psychopaths are willing to lie about the cave you are living in, what else could they be lying about? If psychopaths are willing to lie about the education system, what else could they be lying about? If psychopaths are willing to lie about Jeffrey Epstein, what else could they be lying about? If in the past I have naively been fooled by the psychopaths, what else has my mind been fooled into without my conscious awareness? Uncomfortable, right? Maybe you should enjoy your last look at the shadows on the cave wall. All great knowledge is a tool or resource used either by the good or by the psychopaths. Great knowledge works similarly to the Force in Star Wars. Good and evil knowledge exists, but the greatest knowledge falls under the same umbrella, to be used by either side. Maybe these psychopaths have imprinted a belief into good minds that all great knowledge is psychopathic, only to be used by the psychopaths, or simply that knowledge isn't worth acquiring with all your might. And thus we, the good, stay ignorant of great knowledge, instead worshipping half-truth science or half-truth religion as the end-all, be-all, without acknowledging we are limited by it, controlled by it, with our free will directed and manipulated. A mechanism we refuse to acknowledge has been used as a method of control for thousands of years. Imagine a Star Wars universe where Darth Vader controls all power and great knowledge. The good side of the Force has been nowhere to exist for thousands of years. Since Darth Vader controls all power, he's able to control how information and knowledge get filtered down to society from top to bottom. He can control the glasses people see through education, media, TV, and phones. Hundreds of years ago, Darth Vader decided to create a narrative and belief program through the media. The Force is all evil because Darth Vader uses the Force. The public believes a simple truth. Since Darth Vader and the dark evil of the world uses the Force, anyone who touches the Force must be evil too, no matter who they are. One day, 20-year-old Luke Skywalker explains to his family and friends that he's going to start using the Force. In an instant, a massive commotion arises. Why are you using the Force when it is all evil? How can you use the same Force that Darth Vader uses to commit evil? Because of controlled knowledge, perception, belief, knowing, and negative connotations, his family call Luke psychopathic and evil, despite his good intentions and higher self, who will eventually free them. Luke's higher self wants to defeat Darth Vader, the same evil controlling the peasants' minds. But since his family has associated the Force with a negative connotation, Luke finds it hard to free their minds due to corrupted half-truth belief and knowing systems. His family, friends, and humanity's minds have become castrated because they can't see like a fireman, lacking a set of knowledge that changes everything. They can't see the real truths as their views have become polluted, believing and knowing carefully placed half-truths. Many religious folk may believe some of the truths or symbolism I'm about to explain to you is evil, psychopathic, or demonic. In truth, they have attached a negative connotation to this knowledge, so you don't use it, resulting in the psychopaths having more power. The only reason you believe the truth is psychopathic is because they want you to think the truth is psychopathic, so you can't challenge their power. The further society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. George Orwell. However much you deny the truth goes on existing. George Orwell. What I'm about to share with you is one of the greatest secrets of the mind and universe passed down through the monarchies and spiritual traditions throughout the world, not through the education system. This is knowledge passed down from generation to generation without indoctrination. In the information age of the internet, this knowledge and understanding of this truth is not that hard to find, but 99% of the population still doesn't know or truly understand the universal truth I'm about to explain to you, nor do they care. Or they believe it's some made-up woo-woo knowledge created by some Peruvians in a jungle somewhere with a stick. Whilst this is the truth, I don't want you to just blindly accept it as the truth. I want you to ponder this concept and what it means for you personally, if you knew this as the full 100% truth. Think about it, meditate on it, look online for arguments debunking this, saying it isn't true. To understand a statement as the truth and not just blindly accept it as the truth, regurgitating it, you have to put it through your own trials, tribulations, and mind. Because only then will you realize that it actually is the truth. I am not a Prussian or the education system forcing you down a mouse maze to direct your free will. You must claim your free will and use your mind as a tool to see if this truth goes through your own trials, tribulations, and critical mind. You may understand the wording of this truth. You may view this truth in a book or a YouTube video. But until you fully know this truth with the whole of your soul, consciousness, mind, and heart, will it actually change your glasses of perception. Without overcomplicating it, an atom is light or energy vibrating at a certain rate. Every single atom in the world is light or energy slowed down to 1% of the speed of light. The vibration of the light makes the combination of atoms appear as a solid. It's important to understand this simple truth. The idea that atoms are solid is an illusion. At the fundamental level, it is quite literally just light and nothing else. If we had the technology that was able to calculate the vibrational rate of my hand, matching it with the vibration of a wall, my hand would go straight through the wall. My hand is atoms vibrating, light vibrating, and the wall is atoms vibrating, light vibrating. It is the different rates of vibration that create the illusion that every object appears solid. Max Planck, the German physicist who founded quantum mechanics. As a man who devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about the atoms this much. There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force, which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. Max Planck. The founder of quantum mechanics explains that atoms do not exist. Have you ever sat and stared at a wall to understand what that really means? This entire reality is made up of atoms. Every single little piece of it. So, do we just not exist? Well, we do, but the atoms piercing everything together are just light. Our world is a hologram, not a theory, a fact. The world is light, and the world is a hologram. Since it is an illusion that everything appears solid and real, nothing is quote-unquote real, right? The sofa or chair you're sitting on right now isn't quote-unquote real. It's just light. The room you are in isn't real. It's just light. The book you are reading isn't real. It's just light. The device you're watching on isn't real. It's just light. Your body isn't real. It's just light. Even your thoughts aren't real. It's just light. Atoms are light slowed down to 1%. There is no matter as such, and yet everything in the world is made up of the same substance of light. Whilst everything isn't quote-unquote real or quote-unquote solid, causing an illusion, there is one aspect in our world that is actually real. No illusion, no ifs, no buts or maybes. There is one thing, one aspect of this world that is actually real. 100% authentically real. Zero illusion involved. And what is that, you may ask? Ponder on the following question. Meditate on it. Stare at a wall. Imagine you are floating in space with no body, no mind, no thoughts. How would you know you existed? Really think about it. Close the book. Pause the video. Close your eyes. Meditate on it. Stare at a wall. You have no body, no mind, no thoughts. How would you know you existed? That consciousness, that awareness, the only part of you that is left, the only 100% authentic thing that's real about you, is the exact same consciousness and awareness with zero differences that is in every single human being, every animal, every plant, and every atom. There is only one consciousness or awareness in the whole entire universe. We are energy and light, and so is every single other real or solid thing in this entire universe. The consciousness inside your head reading these words, looking at this video, is the exact same awareness that's in my head that's speaking. It's the exact same awareness and consciousness with zero differences that's in your dad or your mum. It's in your cat. It's in the rug. It is literally in everything. Ask yourself, who are you really? Are you really your profession? Are you really your ego, your identity, or your name? Or are you that consciousness? The same consciousness you had at 4 years old. Maybe, just maybe, if you search, you'll realize the grand truth. You are just consciousness and awareness, and so is everything. Everything else. But not just that, no. You are the exact same one with zero differences. That's also in everybody else simultaneously. We have all seen the all-seeing eye. Ask, what is an all-seeing eye? Does it see all, perhaps simultaneously, through every single piece of light? If we are all the exact same one consciousness, there must be a source, perhaps outside of this reality, perhaps outside space, time, and this third dimension. Perhaps this is what God really is, a source of all mankind, animals, nature, and matter. This source is called God, the all, monad, or the one. If you don't believe it, why don't you believe it? Why does society not believe it? Who would that serve? The ancient Egyptians named this one consciousness the All. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. The Kybalion. Here is a translation of a Hermes Trismegistus text, or the Egyptian god Thoth, from Isaac Newton, the mystic. It is true without lying, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to do the miracles of the only thing. And as all things have been and arose from one, by the mediation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind hath carried it in its belly, the earth is its nurse, the father of all perfection in the whole world is here. Its force or power is entire if it be converted into earth. Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from the earth to the heavens, and again it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and thereby all obscurity shall fly from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing, and penetrates every solid thing. So was the world created. From this do come admirable adaptations, whereof the process is here in this. Hence I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the 3 parts of the philosophy of the whole world. That which I have said of the operation of the sun is accomplished and ended. Despite science knowing the world is a hologram, our world media and social media don't project it everywhere. Maybe it's because a certain type of individual controls how information gets filtered down. David Bohm was an American scientist who described as one of the most significant theoretical physicists of the 20th century. He contributed to quantum theory, neuropsychology, and the philosophy of mind. He explains that everything we see as solid matter is actually born from light that carries code. Light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interaction of different rays, produces particles and all the diverse structures of matter. They are ripples on this vast ocean of light. This ocean of energy could be thought of as an ocean of light. David Bohm. All matter is condensation of light into pattern moving back and forth at average speeds, which are less than the speed of light. David Bohm. In other words, everything we see, taste, and touch is light slowed down, frozen in time, and pretending to be physical matter. Just as we can separate and freeze water from the ocean to create separateness, a higher force can separate and freeze light from the source to create separateness. If this light were to become unfrozen, would the light become one? Take two glasses and pour water into both of them. They are separate. After, pour one into the other. Are they still separate, or have they become one? Maybe you and I are just 2 cups of water frozen in time in the third dimension. When you maximize your mind, you realize that there is no separation on the highest level. Man, know thyself, then thou shalt know the universe and God. Pythagoras. The Matrix. Boy. Bend spoon with his mind. Give spoon to Neo. Boy. Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. Neo. What truth? Boy. There is no spoon. Neo. There is no spoon? Boy. Then you will see that it is not the spoon that bends, but only yourself. Why is there no spoon? Why doesn't the spoon bend? Why is Neo actually the spoon? Maybe it is because the spoon and Neo are the exact same light. The light in Neo's head is the same light in the atom of the spoon. Neo is an anagram of one, which the creators of the movie said was intentional. Maybe you think you've escaped the Matrix, only to be in another one of your own making. Star Wars. Obi-Wan. Vader was seduced by the dark side of the Force. Luke. The Force? Obi-Wan. The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. Star Wars acts as an allegory for this truth. The Force equals the Source, or the One. May the Force be with you equals may the Source, the One, be with you. Yoda. For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere, yes, even between the land and the ship. Another scene. Luke, the Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things. The tension, a balance that binds the universe together. Luke, breathe, reach out with your feelings. What do you see? Rey, the island, earth, death and decay. It feeds new life, warmth, cold, peace, violence. Luke, and between it all, Rey, balance, an energy, a force. Luke, and inside you, Rey, inside me, that same force. In science, there is a term. Energy never dies. Energy never ceases to exist. It only translates. Ask, is this the same as your consciousness? Is your consciousness energy? If so, how can your consciousness, a form of energy, cease to exist? Since, of course, energy never dies. Energy never ceases to exist. It only translates. Have you truly looked within oneself and asked the deepest part of your soul, where do I go at death? Is there such an idea as eternal nothingness, despite knowing that energy or light cannot die? Let's do a task. You can say, I can't be bothered, or I'll just do it later. But remember, we're talking about the truth of the whole entire universe. Task. Imagine nothing in your mind's eye. Imagine complete non-existence. What would happen if you experienced nothing? What would you experience if this idea of death really existed? If you were to sit and ponder on this question for just a couple of minutes, or now and then over a couple of days, you will come to a conclusion. This idea of our consciousness or awareness ceasing to exist is not just unfathomable, but impossible. You'll realize that you'll always have to be experiencing something. When a solid or liquid evaporates into thin air, did it die, or did the light just change form? Solve this maths. 20 times 0 equals... Despite what number the first is, why is the answer always 0? 10 times 0, 50 times 0, 1000 times 0. Why is it always 0? Because the number 0 is a representation of nothing. 0 doesn't exist. You can't times 20 by a number that doesn't exist. 20 lots of 0 is always 0. 10 lots of 0 is always 0. 1 million lots of 0 is always 0. In the same way, we can't experience nothing because by definition the idea of nothing doesn't exist. Nothing doesn't exist because it is nothing. Your imagination of nothing is actually you being aware that you're experiencing something as nothing. If you are already something, if you are already energy or light that is already above 0, you are already a number. So how can you possibly become nothing when your number cannot die but only translate? Water is in your cup, water energy evaporates, translating into gas or water vapor. Then the water vapor rises, then the water falls, then the water is back in your cup. You can't make the water energy non-existent. You can only translate or break down its form. And what is consciousness if it is not a form of energy? Please understand, it is not as if when you die, you just sit in darkness chilling. You go on to experience another reality that is not frozen in time outside the third dimension. The idea of atheism being science's religion is goddamn hilarious and further proof of regurgitation without looking within oneself and critically thinking, questioning, and knowing about one's own existence. Maybe the idea of death and non-existence is a psychopathic method used to induce fear in a collective of people, resulting in their minds being easier to control. People think the idea of YOLO, or you only live once, allows people to live their greatest life. Not true. YOLO keeps people subconsciously stagnated or operating in fear. How can you live to your greatest lengths if you are unconsciously scared of risk, death, and non-existence? Seek this truth and question this truth with the whole of your soul. If you aren't there yet, understand the theory for now, as this truth will be used to maximize your mind and future greatness, even if you don't believe it's true. The question is, if we really are all one on the highest level, and a certain type of individual knew this, why would they continue to separate us? Despite psychopaths knowing the truth, they continue the division of mankind. So why? Truth is, they see this world as their own simulation. After all, for a psychopathic individual's eyes, they are the only one here. And they are right. Just like you're the only one here. Just like I'm the only one here. The psychopath, especially the most knowledgeable ones, knows they are the only one here. There's a reason it's on the dollar bill. They see it as their own GTA Xbox game. They are on Earth to have an experience, and everyone else is just pawns, energy and light in this Xbox game, blowing people up with zero empathy because it's just a simulation. They're here to have an experience as they see fit. Ultimately, none of this matters because everything matters. We are eternal beings. You are nothing and everything at the same time, so it cancels out. The idea that is left is just experience. So they do as they please for their own idea of a great simulation. Just like GTA, death is an illusion. We will always be one. So I will put my own personal separate light above everyone else's. However, there is another beauty in this, an opposite opinion to the psychopath, and this is this truth. Everyone around you is you. The homeless man suffering is literally you. The poor lady who can't walk across the street is you. The stray animal is you. The tree is you. The dodgy drug dealer that smells like piss is you. The nagging boss who is always condescending is you. You can see and understand the other's perspective. You simply do not need to imagine it. You are in their perspective. Somewhere in space and time, your light in your head is in that person right now, experiencing what that person is experiencing. That is a fact. Everyone and everything around you is you. To understand why this truth matters to mindmaxxing, we will first need to talk about thoughts and how the mind functions. Okay, let's skip a few pages. As mentioned in the previous chapter, we are all the exact same consciousness. There is only one consciousness in the entire universe. We all come from the exact same source, and we are all the exact same frozen light. What if I told you this is the exact same truth as the mind? What if there is only one mind in the entire universe? Again, even though the following is the truth, don't accept it as the truth until it goes through your own trials and tribulations. With this being said, you may not believe or know it as the truth. That's fine. But understand the belief and knowing in this truth, the belief program itself, creates the meta mindset to achieve greatness. The monarchies take it very, very seriously. The billionaires take it very, very seriously. The psychopaths take it very, very seriously. And so do some of the greatest athletes and celebrities. They take it seriously because not only is it true, application of this knowledge gives you an advantage over everyone else. At the source of all light, there is no split between consciousness and mind, as it is the true unity of everything. The all-seeing, all-knowing I, the source, the one, knows all, the mind and knowledge, and sees all, the consciousness. The all is mind, the universe is mental, the Kybalion. In school, we are told our mind is created from biology, birth, or matter. What if I told you this is a lie? What if the secret gate-kept knowledge implies the opposite? What if matter doesn't create mind, but mind creates matter? What if the mind were never created, but rather forgotten for the purpose of experience? I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Max Planck, founder of quantum mechanics. The most extensive secret knowledge of the mystery schools, secret societies, and the psychopathic wealthy is a simple truth. Mind and consciousness create physical matter. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness equals consciousness creates matter. Erwin Schrödinger, another quantum mechanic pioneer, best known for Schrödinger's cat. We do not belong to this material world that science constructs for us. We are not in it. We are outside. We are only spectators. The reason why we believe that we are in it, that we belong to the picture, is that our bodies are in the picture. Erwin Schrödinger. Consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms, for consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be accounted for in terms of anything else. Erwin Schrödinger. In other words, consciousness is not part of the physical universe. It is non-local and fundamental before the existence of physical matter. The CIA itself states this truth through its project Stargate, free for anybody to read. The document states, reality is a hologram, human consciousness is non-local, and remote viewing is real. Remote viewing. The ability to perceive information about the distant or unseen target using only the power of the mind. With the correct practice and techniques, you can see what is happening anywhere on Earth, even outside of time, by only using your mind. Don't believe it? Type into Google Project Stargate CIA PDF and critically look for yourself. Since consciousness and mind exist before physical matter in the third dimension, an idea in higher schools of thought has arisen about the nature of light. What if I told you light or energy isn't actually light or energy? Light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interactions of different rays, produces particles and all the diverse structures of matter. They are ripples on this vast ocean of light. This ocean of energy could be thought of as an ocean of light. David Bohm. This light that carries information is just thoughts. At its fundamental, when you go back and back and back to the root of everything, light carrying information is a mask for thoughts. Thoughts are light. Atoms are light. Light is thoughts. Mind creates matter. Before you build a house or any creation for that matter, you must think of it first in your mind. Creation cannot exist without thought. Every creation begins in the mental before the physical. The wheel, your house, your phone, your money, all existed in the mental before the physical. Since creations exist in consciousness and mind before they exist in physical matter, was this creation Earth created in the same manner? A light being with a higher capacity than human beings, who wasn't stuck at 1% of the speed of light, existing in the higher dimensions, can think of a thought, mask it as light carrying information, slow it down to 1%, shoot it around, make an atom, put the atoms together, and now you have a creation, Earth. As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about the atoms this much: there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. Max Planck, founder of quantum mechanics. Werner Heisenberg was one of the main pioneers of quantum mechanics. Walter White from Breaking Bad stole his name. The smallest units of matter are not physical objects in the ordinary sense. They are forms, ideas which can be expressed unambiguously only in mathematical language. Atoms are not things. Werner Heisenberg. Atoms are coded with conscious thoughts. Thoughts are code, and you, the frozen light, are a conscious thought. Nothing exists but you, and you are but a thought. Mark Twain, Freemason. Imagine the largest, grandest light in the entire universe. Put a mirror in front of it. What do you have? Two lights. This one light has bounced off the mirror, creating two lights. Put another mirror, and another mirror, and another mirror, and suddenly you have trillions of thoughts, light, consciousness, and mind, thinking they are separate, when in fact they are the same light. You have been told that thoughts come from your one singular brain. What a joke. Your thoughts are more tangible and real than the book you are holding. Maybe the book you are holding is a thought slowed down, masking as light, masking as an atom, masking as a book. Maybe you are holding frozen thoughts. Tau gives birth to one gives birth to two gives birth to three gives birth to all things and all beings. All beings bear the negative physical form which is represented by yin, and embrace the positive true nature which is represented by yang. Tao Te Ching. When a superior man heard of Tao, he cultivates himself diligently. When an average man heard of Tao, he is doubtful, vague, and would give up halfway. When an inferior man heard of Tao, he laughs and thinks of it as foolish. If Tao is not being laughed at, it is not the great Tao. Thus, there is a traditional saying of, one who is enlightened with Tao may appear foolish. He who is advancing in Tao may appear to withdraw. He who is advancing in Tao may appear to withdraw. Great Tao is plain and simple, which can adapt to all circumstances, although it may seem uneven and rough. A man of superior virtue is like an empty receptive valley. A man of innocence may appear to be disgraced. A man of great virtue appears to be deficient. A man who practices Tao and actively achieves great merits may appear gentle and meek. A man who follows his true self may appear to be changeable. Generosity has no rough angels. Great achievement is time-consuming and is slow to complete. Great tone has no sound. Great Tao is formless. It is invisible and has no name. It benefits all and fulfills all. Tao Te Ching. I previously said that nothing is quote-unquote real. This is still true. Nothing is quote-unquote real, because everything is real. It cancels out. Physical matter is a simulation of thoughts. To most people, thoughts are not quote-unquote real because they think real is the reality they live in. They think the thoughts in your head are not real and tangible, and that the book you are holding is real, when it is thoughts you are holding, the exact same substance that is currently being sent and received in your mind. This idea is in the movie The Matrix, as code runs over the simulation, representing light carrying information or thoughts. Thoughts are code. Banned early Christian and Gnostic texts found in Egypt in 1945 state this truth.
When you break down and decipher the Gnostic Gospels, it is clear they believe a simple truth. The all-seeing, all-knowing eye emanates, creating lesser versions of itself through the act of thinking in the mind alone. What is the underlying reality of the universe? Jesus. I want you to know that all men from the foundation of the world until now, while they have inquired about God, who he is and what he is like, have not found him. The wisest among them have speculated from the ordering of the world and its movement, but their speculation has not reached the truth. I, who came from infinite light, am here, for I know him, light, that I might speak to you about the precise nature of the truth. I want you to know that everything that exists was brought forth from a single source of infinite light, but the world itself is polluted. Jesus Christ. Imagine you are the only being in the universe, so instead of existing alone, you decide to create different emanations of yourself for the purpose of experience. Everyone is a reflection of you, created from the Big Bang itself. Seeing himself within himself in a mirror, he appeared resembling himself, but his likeness appeared as divine self-Father, Jesus Christ. Afterward was revealed a whole multitude of confronting, self-begotten ones, equal in age and power, being in glory and without number, from the one in whom you yourselves have appeared. With his thought, the powers very soon appeared, who were called gods. From them semblances appeared, with structure and from a name for the eons and their worlds. Jesus Christ. Gnostic sects such as the Cathars believed early Christianity and Gnosticism were the truth, that Christianity turned into a half-truth of Christ's message. They were vegetarians, very peaceful, and engaged in Gnostic practices. So what did the church do? Instead of just leaving them alone to do what they pleased, Pope Innocent massacred and burned all of them under the line of heresy and blasphemy. One may ask, isn't burning thousands of people alive the true blasphemous act? No, because that was done under God's will. Does Wi-Fi exist in your phone, or does your phone act as an antenna for the Wi-Fi? Is the Wi-Fi in your phone local or non-local? In the same way your mind and consciousness are non-local. The brain is an antenna that encases the consciousness and mind into a box to simulate this reality. Why is this truth crucial for the purpose of maximizing your mind and future greatness? On the surface level, you may believe you have a different internet in your phone, but in truth, it's the exact same internet as everyone else. Oh, and the mind in your head, at its highest level, without restriction or with worthy power, has the ability to create worlds from thought alone. You are a creative being with restrictions. So, yeah, as you can tell, I put a lot of effort into this book. I designed it in the attempt to change the world and change the reader's life, but I'm finding it hard for people to place their attention on it. So if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you checked it out. Thanks for watching.